and welcome back. We're having such fun in the studio, and I hope you are too. Takalani says on the page, it says today mindsetters are quiet. Takalani, maybe everyone, because it's a holiday, they're sleeping in. I don't know, maybe they're just being quiet because they don't feel like talking. Or maybe they're just understanding everything that we're talking about, quite possibly. If you're not, please post on our page, facebook.com/Learn Extra, and also chat to me on Twitter @LearnExtra. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Hayley. Hayley, take it away.
Thanks, Cindy. Okay, guys, let's carry on with Tembi's kitchen. And now we're looking at the next question. And it says, Tembi needs to put a new skirting boards all the way around the edge of her kitchen floor. Now, I remember giving this to one of my classes once, and they said to me, but what are skirting boards? Okay, those are those little boards that are the edge of the kitchen. But if we don't know what that means, we still need to see that we're looking at the edge of the kitchen floor. So in other words, we are looking here for the perimeter. And we've got except for 2 doorways, and each doorway has a breadth of 1,25 meters. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, it even tells you in the question, calculate the perimeter of the kitchen. So my perimeter of my kitchen is literally, let's just start at one point and walk around. So let's get my orange pen. I'm going to start here and I'm going to walk around. So I've got 4,5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 5 plus 7.5. I suppose I should be writing these all down. Plus 2.5 plus 2 plus 5.5. Back to where I started. So I'm going to do that. But that is one way of actually calculating it. I'm going to show you a different way of calculating it. If I can try, no, I think it's too out of shape. If we had that missing, maybe we could have done it. But let's do this just by adding up. So we've got 4.5. I don't think I need to write these all down. Let's get our calculator out. And if you get to an exam, remember we tell you we always need to see your working. And there's a lot of numbers for you to fill in. If you say 5.5 plus the numbers and plus, you don't have to always enter all the marks, all the numbers. The last one we're going to be adding is 5.5. Your teacher will see that you actually did add them because we're going to be using our calculator. So on our calculator, let's do that. We've got 4.5 plus our 3 plus 1 plus, I probably should move this board down a little bit so I can see where I am. So I was 3 plus 1 plus my 5. Now I've got too many pluses in. Plus 5 plus, move my calculator a little bit, 7,5. And move my calculator back. 2.5 plus my 2 there plus the 5.5. So that gives me all of them. It's 31 meters. So my perimeter is 31 meters. Let's get pen. So that's equal to 31 meters. But remember, we had the doors. So we're going to minus the doors. And the doors, we had our measurement of 2 times by 1,25. So in actual fact, we were minusing. So we're going to take our 31 meters and we're going to minus 2.5 meters. Our calculator, and we've already got that number, so we can just minus 2.5, and we get an answer of 28,5 meters. So 28,5 meters is our perimeter. Right, let's move on to the next part of the question. Skirting boards cost 27 Rand per meter. How much will it cost to buy enough skirting board for the kitchen? So we needed, find a little bit more space. For our kitchen, we needed 28,5 meters. Now, I don't know if skirting board comes in 0.5 meters. Indy, would you have any idea if you could buy 0.5 meter?
You probably could, but I'm sure they probably come
in meter stacks. So we're going to assume that you can't buy. But it's always a good idea to actually tell the teacher what you're doing. So it doesn't tell us that they don't come in 0.5 meter. So I'm going to actually just write to my teacher and I'm going to say, assume that we can only get 1 meter. They're each 1 meter long, or they come in lengths of 1 meter. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to round this up to 29 meters. I will have a little bit over, but that's fine. So I'm going to say 29 meters, and I'm going to times it by my price of 27 Rand. Okay? And let's get our calculator out and get 29 times 27. And I'm going to get 783 Rand. So that's what I'm paying. 700, I can't remember what I did. 783. Now, this is kind of a nice question in that if you had to take 28,5, you can't be marked wrong because we didn't give you the instructions as to what occurred and whether you can buy in half a meter or not. But just be careful with things that you can't get halves of, like towels. We couldn't get half a towel. Or paint. You can't go to the shops and buy half a liter of paint. So just be aware of that, and you always, in that case, need to round up. It's also important that you understand the rounding concept, when we're rounding up and when we're rounding down. So whenever we're dealing with do-it-yourself, we're going to be rounding up because we don't want any gaps in our skirting board. Okay, I think that we've got to our challenge question again. So now what we're going to do is, has anybody on Facebook actually given us an answer, Indy?
We do. We have got somebody that's given an answer.
Okay.
One person.
One person.
One person.
Well, glad to hear that. So
Send more.
What was their estimate? So let's do perimeter first.
Okay, let me have
What was their estimate? I'm going to use that person's estimate. So remember, our perimeter was 2 times the length plus the breadth. So what we need to know is what you guys estimated this length to be. And our length, and now we're going to do the answer in meters. So in meters, what was our length? Did she give a length or did she just give an answer?
The estimated length, let me have a look here.
Okay, so while Indy's trying to find that, we're going to do this again because I actually want to do it in centimeters as well. Length plus the breadth. So we're going to wait this estimate. Okay, Indy, can you find it? Have you got the length?
I'm not going to say names, so I don't want anyone to get embarrassed because there's no such thing as a wrong question and all of that kind of stuff, guys. Okay, so let me see. The estimate is 1.1 meters.
1.1 meters. Okay, so we're going to say 1.1 meters. And the breadth, did she estimate?
0.7 meters.
0.7 meters. Okay, so we're going to do that calculation and work out our perimeter with 1.1 meters. Now, guys, what's really nice about something where they say estimate is that unless you are totally wrong and I say, well, the length of this is like kind of 200 meters, then you would get it wrong. But the teachers have to give you a fair amount of leeway on either side of this estimate. I would have said about 1.2, maybe 1.3. 1.1 is probably not bad. And our breadth, I would have said, I don't know, maybe just under a meter, maybe it was a meter. So let's do the calculation with this estimate. So we've got 2 times 1.8, and our answer is actually 3.6 meters. Then, if we had to convert that to centimeters, we've got 110 centimeters plus the breadth of 70 centimeters. So we end up with 2 times 180 centimeters. And my answer to that is 360 centimeters. Right, I'm going to give you the exact measurements in a moment. I want to work out our area here was 1.1 times 0.7. And here our area was 110 times 70. Hope I'm not going too fast and doing this all at once. Should have changed my color pen. So let's get our calculator out. That's length times breadth. So we got 1.1 times by 0.7. And our answer is 0.77. Need a pen for that. 0.77 meters squared. And in centimeters, it's, get a calculator out, 110 times by 70, and we get an answer of 7,700. 7,700 centimeters. Right, so I hope, and I think we do have enough time to actually do the measurements. What I want to point out, though, is this is why I keep telling you it is so important for you to convert first. Because 0.77 meters squared is the same as 7,700 centimeters squared. So you're no longer just using that 100 centimeters in a meter. you're actually using 100 centimeters squared in a meter. So that's important to always convert first. Now I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to actually measure this board. So I'm going to try to find some space and I'm going to do a little bit of a cheat and I'm going to try this. So first let's do the length. So I have a 50 centimeter ruler and I'm going to place it on the board and I'm going to mark this point with a pen. Okay, I'm going to delete the rest of these writings. Right, so that's 50 centimeters. And then I'm going to carry on and put that back on the line. So there's my 50. Okay, the reason I'm having this other writing going on is because that's actually touching the board and confusing it. And we measured that and we see that it is 19. So I've got 50 plus 50 plus 19. So that was an absolutely great measurement because what is that? That is 119 centimeters as our length. So 110 was really a good estimate. Let's do our breadth. I'll do the same thing. Place it on the board. I've got 50 to there. No, I don't have a pen. Try that again. So place it on the board. Let's not do it there. And 50s to there. Still no pen. Okay, I'm going to estimate. That's where it was. Right, let's move it away from the board a little bit. There's my 50, and measure the balance was from there 18. So I've got 50 here and 18 there, and that makes it 68 centimeters. So it seems quite a bit bigger. Oh, well, no, 0.7 was perfect. That's 68 centimeters. So whoever out there was a good estimation. And now all I need to do is actually substitute those into the equations again and get our answers. But how are we doing on time, Indy? I think we might be running out of time.
I think we've got 1 minute. Can you do it in a minute?
No, you know what? I think that you guys can do this on your own. You know the formulas. We've done the estimation, but if you want the exact values, you can use that. So I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to hand you over to Indy and
So is this the end of the show?
I think so.
I can't actually believe it. Grade 10s, thank you for such an awesome show. I'm going to reveal who did the question so well. It is Dr. Fulani. I don't know, Doctor. Are you really a doctor? You must be, 'cause you're so smart. Thank you so much, Grade 10s, for an awesome show. Don't forget, Grade 11s, that you are next. It is Learn Extra Live, Maths Lit, and we've had an awesome time today. Have a great Women's Day, guys. See you. Bye.